So to deal with that bomb tower, he's gonna be able to chop through without any trouble at all. 96, 97, 98%! Stop!
Things off with their first attack. We're back to the Root Riders, and we're going to have a Royal Champion charge early into this one. There is an Earthquake mixed into this to make sure that some of those buildings are taking some more damage, and as well as some more invisibility investment in the beginning to make sure the Royal Champion is not getting lured in the wrong direction from those Tesla. But the Fox is going down early on.
Yeah, lost the Fox and had to drop an additional invisibility spell to keep her on target. Probably didn't get as much value as he was hoping for there, but did get the recall in and will be able to reuse her later. Again, Diego's going to set up the log launcher, rolling through the top lane of this base to give easy access for those Root Riders and all the supporting troops moving in toward, looks like, Inferno Towers first. He's going to have to catch that Town Hall on the very back end of this base, but with a good stab up at the top, already gets the CC pull out and will be able to deal with those ice golems without them freezing the bulk of his army, Itsu.
Yeah, and the Clan Card troops now should help that Asha Queen as well. We have the Royal Champion though with really little hit points, so she's relying on that vulnerability to keep her safe, keep her protected, and then on her own ability. We have seen many times that those pros are struggling to keep that Royal Champion alive, so that's for sure something which is going to be the deciding factor moving forward. Using that overgrowth on the back end, but the Town Hall with the Monolith, with the Merge Cannon, they have to go down quickly, and the Giga Bomb is over there as well, Woody.
I love the pairing of the Eternal Tome with the Rage spell there. You get your troops to start moving fast, and they start catching a lot of the traps. But with the Eternal Tome already popped, they're taking no damage at all. And even if a lot of defenses are starting to come within range, they are destroying them back to back to back as quickly as they can and negating a lot of damage in that way. We should remind everyone at home, in case this is one of your first matches that you're watching, players are seeking to destroy all of the buildings to earn all 3 stars from 100% destruction. But it's very difficult to do so in hard mode, with enemy heroes dealing more damage, having more hit points, enemy defenses dealing more damage, and your attacking heroes having fewer hit points, dealing less damage. And yet, Diego is able to pull it off. Team ELEKTROS find the 3-star out of the first attack of the day, Iksu.
What an impressive showing, really.
Brilliant. Well, it's going to be an opportunity now for Gaku to return fire. Team NAVI will be moving in next with the same setup strategy. The Spirit Walk. It's going to be a Royal Champion diving in deep with invisibility spells to keep her safe. Electro Boots zapping every defense that she can get close enough to, while that spear is going to do a lot of damage. Might be able to finish off. Yes, it is going to go down. Another crucial defense before the recall and set up the Archer Queen already in that left side corner, Itsu.
Yeah, he wants to enter into that tunnel. We have seen yesterday a couple of times with teams entering into the town hall from, like, having the town hall as one of the last buildings and not entering into the town hall. And that has resulted in quite a few 1-stars. So the top teams going to the town hall just make sure that the first star is secured. And at the same time, not giving the opportunity for this really powerful defense with a long range to, well, deal a lot of damage on the back end. But it's all about the core and how he can handle now a possible split of his troops.
Speaking about long range, the newest siege machine is brought to bear for great effect in many of these pro attacks. You can see over there on that left side, tossing barrels off one by one. The troop launcher is getting great usage here in Gaku's army and is going to be able to complement this attack by sending in even more CC troops afterwards to help with the cleanup along the bottom of the base. But the Root Riders are still looking very healthy, still supported by all of the heroes on the interior of this assault, and it is looking like the 2 stars secured are going to be marching ever closer to 3, Itsu.
Yeah, it's all about this back end, but there is quite a few heavy defenses waiting. The Royal Champion now slowly approaching this back end, and we have to make sure that that Royal Champion is staying safe. We're seeing so many rocket spears for this hero as an equipment, and she needs to make sure that she's staying out of danger. But so far, the Giant is doing such an amazing job of tanking for the Royal Champion. But the Expo is outranging that equipment. This is why he's using the equipment ability for the Royal Champ right now. With the King ability still left, this is looking pretty solid.
Queen goes down, but he still has quite a bit of time, as you mentioned there. And yeah, that giant is so super effective. We talk about new siege machines. We should also mention the new equipments. That action figure on the Queen paired really well with the Magic Mirror, gets extraordinary value. And with the victory of the Royal Champion there against the enemy hero, it looks like we are about to clean this one up. 18 seconds, though, and a wall to get over. Oh, a big bomb goes off, and that's going to slow the King down even more. He's only got 12 seconds now. And not only does he have to get to that multi-target Inferno, but there's a gold storage on the other side. The Root Rider's going to path the way through and try to get a little bit more work done. 3 seconds left. He takes a stab, a swipe. Gaku's sweating. No! 2-star, 99%. A second when your opponents have just pulled off a 3-star start, and you can see the look of cautious determination on Rigo Torres' face, one of the most qualified individuals in the entire Clash of Clans esports scene, and for good reason. He puts 3 stars down like it is nobody's business. Didn't manage to get either on his attacks yesterday, and so now is his opportunity to show that he means business. The lower bracket is a terrifying spot to be in, and he wants to demonstrate his effectiveness for his team right here, Itsu.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He recalled that Royal Champion really early on, and this means the funneling so far is not the craziest, but instead he's having the Earthquake boots to lead his King into that tower compartment to set up the pathing which the Royal Champion was not able to provide. He has still a couple of more invisibility spells if he needs that support for his heroes right now, but this means everything is relying then on his Root Riders and as well the Warden as the Royal Champion to finish off the rest of the base, because his King is already gone, his Queen is already forced into her ability, and this means he has to start with the next phase, which is the funneling and the Root Riders then into that bottom side compartment into the bomb tower.
I'd say it's a bit less common to see just the sacrifice of heroes like this. A lot of times, even when you're sending in a Royal Champion, she gets recalled back out, and the heroes are the ones that are dealing the most damage throughout the entirety of the raid, often surviving till the very end. But if you're able to identify correctly the most crucial targets that they're able to take down early enough, catching those fire spitters in the Town Hall, maybe it's going to be value after all. Giga Bomb explodes and will cause no damage at all to the main force of the raid, but the Archer Queen's looking ever so close to dying. Royal Champion in the core of this assault with the Grand Warden will be the linchpin in making this raid effective. Can she take down this monolith? Yeah, she's going to get that rocket spear popped off to knock down that key defense, Itsu.
And the Archer Queen was actually able to join up with the Root Riders, which is massive for him, because remember, the Root Riders are not dealing a lot of damage on their own. They need something behind them, which then can deal out the, dish out the damage, and the Archer Queen is for sure a nice hero to do exactly that, since the Royal Champion a lot of times is just leading the charge and going into a lot of damage early on. We need something behind those tanks to deal the damage, and this is what is so massive for him right now, that the Archer Queen was doing that job. But there's still some base left, and the troops are disappearing quickly. It will be a close one.
Yeah, he's running low on time. The healers are doing everything they can to keep those Root Riders topped off, but Giant Bombs have been exploding in their face all over the place, and with that enemy Archer Queen engaging now, they're not going to be able to do anything. Just have to wait for Sneezy's little boogers to go pop. Rigo Torres recognizes that with 10 seconds left, it's going to be extremely close. Archer Queen's popping away against the multi-Inferno tower, takes down the Expo, but it is going to be another tight miss. 2 stars and 9 Fireball leading into rocket balloons, but the metagame really has coalesced around these Spirit Walks into Root Riders or Mass Dragons, and it looks like that's what Klaus is going to be bringing next. It's the Root Riders to support a Royal Champion assault.
But this time around, we have the Haste Vial, which means he wants to have this Royal Champion charge to get as many buildings as possible. Typically, you're using that ability during the Royal Champion charge to really get a lot of value, and it's not about the back end, because if you are looking for safety, the Hog Rider Puppet or the Rocket Spear are better choices, and that's exactly why he's using that ability right now, leading the charge.
Wow.
But oh my gosh, there were so many traps. But is the Fox still alive, Woody?
I think so. Yeah, the Fox is still up, Itsu. That is maximum value. Still able to hold on and pulls her back right before that last invis was about to wear off. He still does have 1 invisibility spell that he can use later in this raid for redirecting or protecting troops as needed. Log Launcher's going to roll on in and does start to catch that Poison Tower. Nice find if it's able to deny value there, while the Barbarian King is going to chop up this scatter shot. Finds the main deploy out the left side corner as the Root Riders are now storming in, and they'll be able to make a clockwise push around this base and really do some great work supported by that Grand Warden.
Yeah, the big push is coming in, and something which is always nice to take a look at if you're wondering how the attack is going is the healers, because typically with all the splash which is within such a base, they can go down quickly. So if they can stay alive through the majority of the attack, this is always good news for the attacker. Let's well take a look at that core. We had one Root Rider leading the charge there for the Archer Queen, getting her behind the Town Hall, and now she can deal all of the damage needed to really push into the back end with that Archer Queen ability now spawning 2 more Archer Queens and as well the Giant. He is looking really solid because there's not many heavy hitting defenses left, and he even has an Ice Golem to tank and freeze up this back end.
Absolutely. Just a little bit of a surprise there with a couple of Teslas popping up, but that's not going to be too much for him to worry about. Late traps are better than early traps because it means you've already deployed most of your army against the base, and with 40 seconds remaining now, Klaus must still feel very confident. A super effective freeze on the back end is able to catch that Ricochet Cannon and a Tesla and that Wizard Tower. Going to be able to pop it off again as soon as that freeze. Wow, didn't even hesitate, not a single millisecond in between those 2 deploys. And with 24 seconds left, this base is all but demolished. Klaus from NAVI has pulled off the comeback lead and will be ahead now of Team ELEKTROS by a single building.
And this...
Yeah, super tough to fight back from the lower bracket, but if any team is going to do it, you would expect NAVI to be one of them. They actually won their World Championship title from a run through the lower bracket. We'll see again now if Luke from Team ELEKTROS can keep his team on a path for victory. We want to see a 3-star from him here and now, just like we saw yesterday. He tripled in both of his attacks and is certainly one of the strongest hitters on this lineup. Can he pull it in again? With a bit of an interesting army comp. It looks like he's starting off with the Grand Warden this time instead of bringing the Spirit Fox and Royal Champion in as usual. He'll be able to set up for a Fireball deploy here thanks to those invisibility spells, and boom goes the dynamite right in the core of the base. A massive strike into the heart of this compound. Loop is setting up now for the rest of the heroes to join in on the fun and get some more work done as he preps for the Root Rider deploy.
Yeah, really good job of making sure that the second layer is taken care of, and now we can get started with the Root Riders from the bottom side. We have the test dunes in there as well. We have the new siege machine in there as well to make sure that the support is getting reinforced. The pros just really like to bring this new siege because it is so good in hard mode, because we have so many strong defenses, and the giants, if a giant is tanking a couple of those shots of like a monolith or other heavy hitting defenses, this always means that the Root Riders are going to stay alive because of so much damage incoming on them. You can't always keep them alive otherwise. So this is the reason why the pros like the siege machine so much and why we see it so much. But without any Eternal Tome left anymore, he is really relying on those healers to keep everything safe.
Yeah, this hard mode is a really difficult beast, and anything that you can use to give you a leg up against superpowered defenses is what you're going to want to bring in. Just being able to drop troops directly into the combat thanks to that troop launcher is exactly what these players have sought, and it's what they're going to be rewarded for now. A little bit of damage on those healers, though, is going to be deadly as the Fire Spitter turns around and 360 no-scopes him. Luke on the back end now is trying to keep this charge going forward, just facing off against a lot of DPS from these defenses, forced to pop the Royal Champion ability, and the Hoggies are going to pop on out, doing what they can against the multi-target Infernos, but they will burn to a crisp very quickly. Loop's heroes are withering away, and at 85%, he's got to rely just on that Archer Queen ability to try to make it through the rest of this base. Pops it early to get that giant out in front to try to maximize the DPS here, but with an enemy minion prince and the monolith still standing, I don't think he can do it. It looks like Kazuma's base is going to hold it, Sue.
Yeah, with 15 seconds left, this seems like an impossible task for Loop. But again, it's impressive what the average destruction is in this match so far. I mean, every single attack so far was above or even the 95% two-star mark, which is incredibly impressive in this hard mode.
The balance by 1, 2, 5%. NAVI needs a 95% two-star to maintain the lead right now. Is Kazuma the man for the job? He picked up a 1-star in his first attack, one of the rare fails that we saw yesterday, but 3-starred right afterwards. He's willing to take risks, and he is going to be diving in deep early on with the Royal Champion Spirit Box, bringing a lot of invisibility spells. So expect to see this Spear Lady go the distance.
Yep, mass invis charge indeed, and it's all about that he's controlling his Royal Champion, going to the right direction. He's having the Archer Queen with that Angry Jelly to really push the Royal Champion into the right direction. This is something which we see quite commonly, and as well then the combination with the Frozen Arrow to make sure that this Archer Queen is getting quite quickly into those defenses. But you said it as well, the Royal Champion taking a lot of damage, and now she has to go further into the core because this is what he's looking for.
Superb multitasking by Kazuma. Gets the Archer Queen and the Royal Champion right on target, exactly where he wants them. And he's going to be able to get that scatter shot. A lot of damage. Does it go down? That would be so crucial for him. Yes! The scatter shot eliminated. And Kazuma has sacrificed his Royal Champion and Archer Queen in the process, but look how much of that base is gone. Nearly a third of it obliterated. The interior missing now a lot of key defenses. And as he sets up for the masked dragons, here they come. Just one little coconut loon out in front in case there had been a black bomb, but sends in the battle blimp right afterwards. Ooh, does take a big beating on the battle blimp, but not too much to worry as it's going to crash anyways right over the town hall. Inside, we've got more loons and raging them up. That is going to take the town hall down without any difficulty at all. Another early pop from the Grand Warden Eternal Tome ensures that these dragons are going to be still plentiful in the skies. However, keep an eye on air defenses and monoliths. They can really rip dragons up quickly. Take them down early and you've got a solid shot at victory. Kazuma grabs another one and will continue his path of destruction, holding on to that minion prince ability, Itsu.
Well, that minion prince has to go for the cannon. Now he can use the perfect ability. He's still waiting for it. What is he waiting for? He can freeze every... What? Oh! Okay, he's still waiting. He could have frozen the monolith and as well the air defense on the back end, and now the minion prince is just staying on the outside. That would have been such a nice thing. I'm wondering why he decided against it. Is he just trying to swag it? There we go now, but the monolith has stayed alive and as well as keep firing, and that can be a problem moving forward because that thing is not going down just yet.
Thankfully, though, Sneezy's boogers are getting out in front and taking a few of these shots, keeping the Grand Warden safe on the back end, but Rocket Loons are not able to get there in time to take it down. They need to focus on that monolith quickly. Sneezy himself is about to get snot-ragged as he is finished off by the monolith, but tanking those shots for the dragons. The heavier DPS will carry through, and Kazuma from Navi scores a triple!
The lower bracket buff for Navi is just Navi because their pace right now is impressive.
Absolutely, even with a 3-star right now, they will still be struggling to keep up. They're missing a star, 8 to 7 in this race so far. So as we enter the late war, Al Mualin needs a triple here in order to keep his team in contention. If he fails, it would mean that they would need both a double defense and a triple on their final strike. Very difficult to pull that off against, as you said, the lower bracket buff enjoyed by Navi. Something that I really appreciate with these pros is the swap outs of the hero pets. We've seen Phoenix be used on the Royal Champion yesterday. We've seen Frosty and the Angry Jelly swapped out on the Archer Queen, and that's a very important tech choice and one that you've done a great job calling out so far, Itsu. Almolin's early charge here is going to sacrifice a lot of hero strength, but will be able to set up another beautiful entry point for the main force now. Root Riders on the bottom right side are going to get an Eternal Tome to protect right as they get the entry point. Plenty of damage popping off against them, but it is completely negated by that beautiful hero ability.
Yeah, really good job with that entry again, making sure those heroes can have so much value at their top set with the Log Launcher together. But the Root Riders now, they have to push into this Town Hall direction. We have seen this now many times that the Town Hall is on the back end, and the result, a lot of times, unfortunately, was a 1-star. But this setup is looking super clean. The Root Riders are going direct now to the Town Hall direction. But we're seeing a lot of red mines, black mines, everything popping up, and those healers need to stay alive. Oh, but the Booger is triggering all of the red mines, and that is clutch in this moment.
Terrible result, but he's still being able to power through. Clutch to keep them alive, and I think that the Root Riders are just still so healthy. They've really only got a Ricochet Cannon to go up against last. And then as you can see, it's just cleanup from that point. Plenty of time remaining. They are going down one by one, but man, as long as we can keep anything in the sky, we would be safe. Is the minion going to be able to pivot over to the right side and take out the Ricochet Cannon? I mean, I guess Sneezy could do it anyways.
Sneezy should be able to do it, especially with the 2 spawned Boogers as well.
I
The
don't know.
Wizard is going down, the minion, Sneezy, 30 seconds. Should be enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sneezy DPS is pretty admirable. In fact, quite a bit of damage when the hero goes down. And able to target directly onto defenses. As soon as that Builder Hut goes down, that'll be even fewer healing on the gold storage. You can see Almolet is just sweating. But that is going to be it! He's pulled it off after all, Itsu! A 3-star! No smile.
Are going all in.
Insanely close, and as you can see on the board here, the first determinant in victory is the number of stars scored. If Navi gets a triple here, they'll still be ahead by a star. The tiebreaker after stars is percentage destruction, and Navi would need a 2-star 95% to maintain the lead on that count. But after that, it goes down to overall time spent in attacks, and Navi is a second slower on that count.
Yeah, but time typically is not that big of a factor anymore, likely, so it's all about those 3 stars so far in this competition. But anything can still happen, especially with those crazy attacks from those pros. And the entry again is right into the Town Hall, making sure you're not giving this defense any chance of firing at your troops from the back end. On this one, it is again the overgrowth to make sure the core can be ignored. The pathing would be set up then beautifully for the Root Riders to the core, but it's all about when those defenses are waking up again and if those healers can stay alive.
P.E.K.K.A.s have just been ripped apart. That Siege Barracks up top is not getting quite as much tanking value out in front. Gonna rely instead on these Valks to try to get in to soak those shots. Scatter Shot also locked on to Heroes has just been walloping away, while the mid section of this army is still doing quite well. Root Riders are spreading out though, and the Grand Warden having a little bit of difficulty knowing who to follow. Yada is still on track to victory, but has been taking a lot of damage. He's got to focus up a lot on this multi-gear tower on the backside, though. It dishes out a ton of DPS and will destroy the Grand Warden. Yada's in a lot of trouble right now, Itsu.
It is just so crazy to see this defense. I don't know, like two-shotting. It just two-shot the Archer Queen. It is insane how much damage there is. The Giant has to tank. The Archer Queen, though, on low hit points and now getting taken care of.
Keep an eye on
the
percentage.
cannon.
He needs 95 to keep the lead.
Ooh. I don't think
he's going to get it. He's at 91 and he's stuck. That is a lead for ELEKTROS. Navi fall behind. His fate is in his hands. Can he 3-star here and now and eliminate the former world champions?
It is going to be again a Royal Champion charge. We have a heavy Royal Champion charge with 6 invisibility spells, and on top of that as well with the Haste Vial, which means he wants to get deep into the base, as much value as possible, and not just set up a funnel or anything like that, which we have seen earlier, to make sure that we have a lock launcher dive after that. No, instead he wants to get really far into the base with this equipment and with the amount of invisibility spells. The question now is, are there any traps against this? Giant bombs or anything like that? Even the tornado trap, we have seen that against those entries. He is not perfect with actually using those invis to redirect the Royal Champion, but that was really costly.
Yeah, spending a lot, but I guess he found that with the Teslas popping up on the outside. Oh, did he catch the Spear Fox and the Royal Champion with that recall? That was really clutch, actually. Perfect.
That was so close as well.
They were really far apart.
But yeah, entering now on the top left side. using the skeleton spell to keep that monolith distracted, which is the perfect usage of one of those spells. Having the Archer Queen funneling the outside, pushing everything through that monolith right there. That's how we see why pros love this siege machine so much. Having those giants as well tank with the root riders together is looking beautiful. We have the king with the snakes on the outside, keeping everything further inside the core. But he's going into a lot of damage. I mean, if there's 2 fire spitters on the back end, he's going to go in between of them. So that overgrowth needs to be perfect. And there we go, covering a big part of the space.
Massive coverage on the top side there, and unfortunately it looks like that multi-inferno is going to wither away what remains of the top side of this attack, but still very, very strong on the bottom. Eltano missed in both previous attempts yesterday, scoring 2 stars twice, but he might just be the one to clinch victory for Team ELEKTROS now, as the stab at the core of this base is in. Can he twist the knife and finish off NAVI? That Town Hall is dealing out a massive amount of damage, and the healers are taking so much fire, they are going to be down for the count. Royal Champion's already popped her ability, so she's finished off as well. Eltano holding on to another free spell and just hoping beyond hope that the heroes will be enough to finish off too much of this base.
There's 2 hero abilities still left. Those have to clutch somehow. We need really strong connection for those equipments. The Archer Queen is getting forced really soon. There we go, which means the giant is in the house. The king ability can be used as well. He's trying to get as much value as possible with the spiky ball, but there's still 2 Inferno Towers in that core, and they are firing at those troops.
That's gonna be a lot of damage, Hitsu, but he's got headhunters to deal with the enemy hero. Cracking through the first layer of the wall now as quickly as he can. Those Archer Queens are just taking so much heat. Giant cannot block shots against a multi-inferno. And Eltano, with 5 seconds left, knows that there's nothing to be done. A 2-star, 97%. It's an improvement on both of his hits yesterday. Final shot at it, here and now. He'll be marching in with Root Riders to follow up after this Royal Champion Spirit Fox dive. He's brought a complement of some invisibility spells to get a little bit of depth into this base, and the recall as well to pull her out afterwards, but is not making the full commit early on with her, instead choosing to bring 2 rages and 3 freezes to support the main stab against this base.
Yeah, and as well, using the new siege machine, it seems like, which means no lock launcher dive, what we have seen so much from some of those attackers with great success. I think 2 of the 3 stars were with those lock launcher follow-ups after Royal Champion charge. The question now though is, can he get the value he was looking for with that Royal Champion? Recalling the Royal Champion before she's getting that poison tower, but now he's entering into the town, finding his spring trap early, losing the ice golem early on. Is there another spring trap? There is. Both ice golems are getting spring trapped away, losing the tanks early, but at least keeping the freeze effect.
With a spring trap in his face, he gets sprung, and Stars finds a need to pop the Eternal Tome early, as these troops have no more tanking out in front to block. Ice Golems will be blocking instead on defense, and that's going to freeze up the entirety of his army. Fortunately for Stars, he's not taking too much damage now that the Town Hall's been taken down, but he is starting to take a lot of shots from fire spitters. Over on the right side, he still has a Barbarian King trying to slash through these defenses, while the main army on the bottom side is trying their best to power through, but slowed down by the Poison Tower. He needs this Archer Queen and Royal Champion to still get maximum effect on the interior. RC tosses her spears, and with that ability popped, he will get a lot of great value. But the Giga Bomb going off right in the big bulk of that army is bad news. Stars needs those healers to top him back off, but I don't see any of the Root Riders remaining, Itsu.
Yeah, there's not many troops left alive, but a couple of healers, and that can be crucial moving forward. The Archer Queen now is getting fired at from that merchant cannon, and as well the Expo, so he is having to use that rage to keep everything alive. The Giants should go through the wall to keep that Queen safe, and time should be fine. And to be honest, it's not looking that bad. He has 1 booger clearing up the left side. He has some super barbarians, so this can still maybe work if he can manage his troops on the back end with the 2 super barbarians.
It all comes down to this, Itsu. It's 3 stars or nothing. Will Stars be able to pull it out and advance NAVI onward drops one of the Super Barbarians over on the right side to deal with that bomb tower. He's gonna be able to chop through it without any trouble at all. 96, 97, 98%! Stars has done it! Your former world champions are victorious and have defeated Team ELEKTROS. They are now eliminated while NAVI moves on in the lower bracket. Only missing 10 buildings out of the entire base's compound set up by NAVI. They are going to lose this war on stars.
It is.
Let's take a look at the bracket now and see which teams still stand. There are 5 of the best in the world remaining in this monthly finals for the Clash of Clans World Championship. Dizzy and Vatic waiting in the wings along the upper bracket, having already defeated only Exceed and Dizzy Group, as well as Synchronic, Tribe Gaming, and ELEKTROS down to the lower bracket.